Hey y'all, welcome back to Susie on the Farm. If you're new here, I'm Susie. I'm the owner and creator here. And on my channel, I love to go thrift store shopping. I have a giant stash of junk back there, unwanted, unloved items that I love to transform into beautiful home decor that I sell here in my store in Alabama and online at susieonthefarm.com. Today's video is exciting. I have two fun makeovers for you and one extra special DIY, something I used to make all the time that was a really great seller that I completely forgot all about, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's go ahead and get started. Project number one is this previously loved cutting board, and it looks like it was loved really well. I've already cleaned it up and I scuff sanded those scratches just a little. I don't want them to disappear. And now I'm coming in with DIY clay-based paint in the color Apothecary. I know this is not a traditional Christmas color, but it works so well with this paint inlay that I'm going to use. And one of the trending colors this year is the softer muted pastel colors for Christmas. So I've done a whole display in the store with those colors, and I think this will go perfect. To use a paint inlay, I put down one coat of the clay-based paint, and now I am putting the paint inlay into the second wet coat. What you want to do is put a pretty thick layer of wet paint down, then mist your paint inlay onto the paint side. This is the La Folie paint inlay. It was from the Christmas release, but honestly, y'all, I feel like this one's a year-round paint inlay that could be used anytime throughout the year. Once you lay your paint inlay with the paint side down into the wet paint, you'll just want to let it dry. And it doesn't take long for this clay-based paint to dry, and you can easily tell when it is dry because the paper will turn back white on the back, and then that is where the magic begins. Once you get them all on, give them another little spritz and dab off any excess, and now they are dry, and I'm re-wetting them. And this, y'all, is where the magic begins. This is so fun, pulling back these paint inlays and seeing that beautiful image displayed on your project. They're never perfect, they're never the same, but that is part of the beauty of them. And I absolutely am obsessed with paint inlays. I put them on anything that I possibly can, and cutting boards are the perfect thing to put them on. You have a flat surface. They just always turn out super, super cute. And this one was no exception. When you are cutting your paint inlays into pieces like I did on this one, sometimes you can see the difference in where the paint inlay paper was. So I just like to see, you can see that there. I just like to take my paintbrush and just dab over those areas just so you can't see that stark white line. This one, you could still see the difference, but it gave it a really cool old world effect. I let the paint dry, and then I just did a spray sealer on this one, just a Minwax polyacrylic. I sanded the edges a little bit to bring some of that wood back, spray sealed it, and here is the finished product. It is so beautiful. Like I said, I love this old world look, and I'm obsessed with paint inlays. I've also had several viewers lately ask me to share what I price things at. I typically don't do that for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not very good at pricing, and two, it makes such a difference in your area. For me, using a paint inlay, I paid very little for this. I probably would price this one around $16.99. Project number two are these cardboard nesting boxes. I have had these for years. I've always meant to upcycle them. I've never got around to it. I usually just put them up on a tall shelf, knowing that they would not sell the way they are, but needing something to fill. So I'm finally getting around to upcycling these. I'm going to use Fusion paint on these. Fusion's an all-in-one mineral paint. The reason I'm using Fusion is I'm going to put a transfer on these, and Fusion is absolutely wonderful to put transfers on because of that built-in sealer. I was able to get one coat coverage on these. That first one I painted in the color Little Lamb, and this one I am going in with Oakum. And finally, the large one I did have to do 2 coats on. I am using Fusion in the color Raw Silk. All of the paint and products that I use to do my thrift store makeovers are available on my website, susieonthefarm.com, and that's SUSIE. So the only pieces I had left of the Partridge Lane transfer were the 12 Days of Christmas. I wanted to do ornaments with these, but I also did not want to open another pack. So I thought that I would make this work on these boxes, and I'm so glad I did. They really turned out amazing. So I'm just going around. This is the large box on the bottom, and this lid does not cover any of the part of these transfers. So I'm going around in order, starting, of course, with the Partridge in a Pear Tree, and then moving on to the 2 turtle doves. I did get to the 3 French hens and forgot what was next, and that was the point that I had to look up to see what was next in the 12 Days of Christmas. Of course, when I saw it, it immediately came back to me. So I transferred all of these all around this box. I was only able to get to the 8, which I think is 8 Maids a Milking. So I got those 8 transferred, and I will randomly put the rest of them on the tops of the boxes. For the 2 smaller boxes, I had a couple of the swags, and I could put them low enough down on the boxes where the lid did not cover any of the transfer. I just didn't want to hide any of that beauty. These have those muted pastel colors that are so trendy this year, so I'm going to style these over in that area of the store. Once all the transfers were down, I went over these with some clear wax, and I did not get that on video, and that finished these off. I love how they turned out. The colors go perfectly together, and I'm so glad that I finally have these nesting boxes made over. I even had another set, and they were oval. I had just enough few little transfer scraps left over to add into those, and I styled them all together, and they look so good with my pastel tree. The larger set will be listed at $18.99, and the small oval set will probably be $14.99. These will also be on my website under home decor, and I'll list them down below in the description. Y'all, I just finished with the first tree in the store, and I know it's not even Halloween yet, but I am in retail. But I am loving the pink floral soft flock tree. When do you guys start putting up your Christmas trees? I know it's not anywhere near now, but let me know in the comments. Look at all these handmade ornaments. I am loving this tree. Only 4 more to go. Our last project is a fun little DIY that I used to make all the time. I'm gonna make them a little bit different this time, but basically you can use scraps to do this with. I just happen to have a few of these homespun fabrics and that calico, which was an offcut that I had got clearance at Hobby Lobby. And what I'm doing is just cutting them into different shapes and sizes. We're gonna make some sachets with these. I used to make these all the time, and they were great sellers. Don't think I've ever made any Christmas themed ones before. And normally in the past, I would use hot glue to close these up, but I have started sewing more and more lately, and my sewing machine is handy. So for these, I am gonna sew them together, but it is not a requirement. I used to make them all the time using drop cloth and hot glue. It really doesn't matter what you use. At this point, I have a bunch of Christmas scrap I don't want to call them scrap because they're perfectly good transfers. They're just ones that I've already cut down into little pieces, and I kind of just keep them all piled together somewhere. So these are all from different transfer packs. Some of these are from last year that I never got to use. Some of them are from the Winter Botanist, just different transfer packs. I think there is also some Santa's Hollow mixed in here. I'm putting them directly onto the fabric. I did do a video on these a couple of years ago. I did some stamping on them. I used drop cloth. So I'm actually going to link that video here up high and down below as well if you want to view it. For some reason my video didn't work out, but I sewed around 3 sides of those, and now for the scents, and this, you can do all kinds of different things with this. I'm taking the easy way out, and I bought some of the Downy Unstoppables. You could use all kinds of different flavors. For this, I am going in with more of some of the wintry mixes, since these are Christmas themed, but you could do anything. And then my sewing machine is right there in front of me. After I put a few scent beads in, I sew up that other side, and now I'm taking my pinking shears and making the edges pretty. If you're using drop cloth, I like to fray those edges. There's just so many different ideas. You can make your own filling with dried lavender. You can put rice using essential oils as well, but I'm just going to finish up the rest of these doing the same with each. Sew up the sides, use the pinking shears to clean up the edges, and I wish that y'all could smell these because they smell so good. One of those is a vanilla, which smells amazing. The other one, I can't remember the scent, but there are so many of these available now. These many were not even available a couple of years ago when I used to make this. So you can be creative, and I'm probably going to make some more of these. And I usually price these. I used to do $7.99 each. Of course, I have some really small ones here, so these will be various prices, but somewhere around $6, $7, $8, something like that. And like I said, they're great smellers, and I have got them styled over in a dresser in the back of the store, and it is making this whole place smell absolutely amazing. These are so fun to make, and the options are just endless on how you can make them look. I hope that I've inspired you guys to give them a try, and I hope that you have enjoyed all of these makeovers. Don't forget, if you need any paint or product, you can get that all on my website. I do the quickest shipping that I can. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great night.